Joe, what was Dana DeMuse's explanation there in the 8th for not calling Correa out?
Well, he said it didn't. The rule reads in the umpire's judgment if it impedes with the first baseman catching it. My argument is you have no lane to throw it. So I guess Dellen's only option is to throw it and hit him. And I don't think that's what baseball wants. So to me, it's something that probably needs to be looked at.
How frustrating is that considering where you are in the game, 8th inning, tie ball game?
Yeah, I mean, that's a big play. You know, it ends up hurting us, and then he gives up the couple more runs from that on. But that's a big play because that's the second out.
Did you think he had Valbuena there in the 2-2 pitch, the curveball?
Yes, I did.
For Betances, not quite as sharp as we've seen him before. Why do you think he was just a little bit off this afternoon?
Yeah. You know, he walked the first guy, and then I thought he did a pretty good job, and he gets, you know, if he gets Correa on there, it's probably a different inning. You know, there's 2 outs. So that mistake led to more problems.
Anthony.
Joe, how would you evaluate Tanaka's performance? And when you decided to take him out, what was the thought there?
I thought he threw pretty well. I just thought he was kind of getting at the end of his rope. You know, Gomez in the past has had some good at-bats off him. I know he did a good job with him today. But I just thought he was kind of getting near the end. He had to work, you know, somewhat hard, not too hard, but somewhat hard. And I made the change.
Jesse and Wally.
Joe, just to go back to the Betances play for a second, from where you could see, you didn't think there was any way for him to take a step and get an angle to make the throw?
I don't think he has time, Wally. I don't. And to me, the spirit is the rule is so that the player is allowed to make a play. But, you know, in his judgment, he didn't think it impeded with the first baseman catching that. I know Mark probably couldn't really see Dellen a whole lot, you know, from where he was at because of where the runner was at.
Jesse.
Joe, did they say whether or not that play was reviewable? And also,
it's not reviewable.
Also, you've run into problems with this rule before. There was a game a couple years ago in Baltimore with Stephen Drew where he was ruled and went against you, basically the same thing, and the ball hit him. Is this a rule that, you know, just needs to be evaluated for just better clarity and the way it's enforced?
I personally think so. You know, what's Dellen's option there? To throw it and hit him in the back? I mean, is that really what we want? I don't think there's really a lot of options for Dellen. Or he tried to touch it, you know, throw a touch throw, which most pitchers don't have in their arsenal, over Correa, and that's difficult. So, you know, I think it's interference, but the rule reads the way it does, and we have to live with it.
Andrew.
Joe, what did you think of the conditions?
I didn't think they were terrible. I mean, they weren't ideal. But I've been in colder games before. I thought both teams handled it pretty well.
George.
Joe, Keuchel make adjustments after the inning he scored 2?
Yeah. You know, he walked a few the first couple of innings that I think, you know, kind of helped us a little bit. But he made adjustments. He made pitches. And, you know, I thought Masahiro got in trouble when he got behind a little bit. And I think the same was the case with Keuchel.
Kevin, to your right, Joe.
Joe, what kind of talent do we see? Here we go.
Sorry, yeah.
Up in Correa when you see that kid.
You know, it's really good talent. There's nothing he can't do. Defensively, he plays extremely well. He runs the bases extremely well. And he's a really good hitter. You know, we saw him hit a couple different pitches, and we saw him hit pitches hard to third, and hard to right center, and he's quite a talent.
Brian, to your left, Joe.
So it looked like you signaled you were going to play under protest.
I did. I told him I wanted protest.
What's the hope there?
Well, you know, if they don't change it, that you bring more clarity to the rule. Because I don't want to go in and tell my pitchers just throw it and hit them in the back. You know, I don't want to do that because you get somebody hurt is what you can do. So, you know, Mark obviously he doesn't have a lane to throw it. So, you know, it's different to me if he's crossing over the base path, and that because he's crossing over the base path, he doesn't have a lane. But where he was, you know, Correa is way in the baseline. To me, it's something that really needs to be addressed.
Back middle, Joe.
Oh, obviously losing always leaves a bad taste in your mouth, but opening day kind of deja vu of 6 months ago exactly. I mean, what are your feelings right now about today's game?
Well, it's frustrating because we had a chance to win the game. We had a 2-0 lead, and we weren't able to build on that. And then, some of our mistakes led to them scoring some runs. But tomorrow's a new day.
Mark, right here in the middle, Joe.
Joe, given all the trouble you guys had against Keuchel, how nice was it early on anyway to see Castro come through in his first at-bat for you guys and have that big hit?
I thought that was good. I thought he put a good at-bat on him. I thought our guys put some better at-bats on him today than we did, 6 months ago or however long ago it was. So it was good to see, Starling get off to a good start.
Billy.
By protesting an interpretive call, I mean, are there any real grounds that you think you have for that, or is just to make a point?
No, my point is you can't make a play. You can't make a play unless you want our guy to throw it and hit him. That's the only way you can make the play. So that's why I'm protesting it.
And I came in late, so I'm not sure if you answered this, but I mean, what did DeMuth tell you?
That it didn't impede with the first baseman catching the ball because the throw was so bad.
Alex up front, Wally.
Joe, you were pretty understandably animated in your talk there with Dana.
Yeah.
Were you surprised you didn't get kicked out, and do you take that as an indication that maybe the umpire knew that you had a point?
Maybe. Yeah, I was a little surprised. I was still in.
Did you say anything that should have gotten you kicked out?
No, I didn't. So, but I was somewhat animated because it's a big play in the game. And it's, it's frustrating that that's, kind of how the game got out of control.
To your right, Anthony.
Joe, did anything happen to McCann on that last ball? He seemed to pull up a little
He
bit.
tripped. He said he's fine. So he tripped. So I don't anticipate there being anything, but because I waited for him to come off the field to ask him.
Bruce.
So, Joe, if he does throw the ball, hit him in the back, does that...
They would have called him out.
Okay.
How about that? They would have called him out if he hit him.
I was going to say,
Doesn't
does
make a
that
lot of
strengthen
sense.
your argument?
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense to me. Because now you're asking one of our players to assault theirs.
Anyone else? Okay, Tyler. Go ahead, Tyler.
Let's just say that word got to me. If it would have hit the runner, I'm not saying where it came from, he would have been out.
Okay, we'll have Tanaka in here shortly.